Start with a couple of good, long, deep in and out breaths. You can use the word butto to go together with the breath. But with the in-breath, to with the out. And make the syllable as long as the breath. So if it's a long breath, it's but in, to out. And notice where you feel the breathing in the body most clearly. Because when we talk about the breath, it's not so much the air coming in and out through the nose. It's the flow of energy in the body. It's similar to the qi in Chinese medicine. And you can feel that energy almost anywhere in the body. So ask yourself, where do you feel it most clearly right now? And for the time being, focus your attention there. And ask yourself if long breathing feels good. If it does, keep it up. If it doesn't, you can change. You make it faster, slower, shorter, even longer, deeper, more shallow, heavier, lighter. You can try in short and out long, which is relaxing. In long and out short, which is more energizing. Ask yourself, what does the body need right now? Use the breath as medicine for the body. Ajaan discovered this method while he was sick. He walked into a secluded place in the forest, 3 days' journey by foot into this secluded forest to stay for the rains retreat. And a few days after he arrived, he had a heart attack. Had no medicine, no way of getting word outside. And if he was going to leave, he was going to have to leave on foot again for 3 days. So he told himself all he had was his breath. He had been doing breath meditation up to then, but this time he placed more emphasis on the breath energies in the body. He found that by focusing on the breath in the way that he described, it was good for the mind and good for the body. So tell yourself, when the breath feels good, it's got to be good both for the mind and the body. He worked with the breath for 3 months. At the end of the 3 months of the rains, he was able to walk out. He lived for another 8 years after that. So think of yourself as nourishing the body with the breath. You're becoming more sensitive to the body as well. This is important. Because the way you breathe will have an impact on the mind and the body. And as the Buddha pointed out, it's how we bring our mind and body to our experience of the world that's going to determine whether we have to suffer from that experience or not. So you're preparing yourself, developing the skills you need, so regardless of how the world is going outside. You're bringing something good into the world at the same time that you're helping yourself. This is a standard quality of the Buddha's teachings on happiness. If you find true happiness for yourself, that's going to bring happiness to others, and you have more to share. So when you have a rhythm of breathing that feels good, you can start exploring how the body feels, how the breath feels in different parts of the body. Ajaan in Method 2 has you start with the back of the neck. But you notice when you read some of his Dharma talks that he would place variations on that. Starting at the back of the neck is really good if you have a heart condition, because a lot of tension tends to build up there, and you breathe in from the back down through the spine. It releases a lot of that tension. But I've noticed that a lot of people have trouble feeling any kind of breath energy there at all to begin with. So start with something that's more obvious. Focus your attention down around the navel, down around the abdomen. Locate that part of the body in your awareness. Watch it for a while as you breathe in and breathe out. See what kind of breathing feels good there. And if you feel any tension or tightness in that part of the body, allow it to relax. Think of the breath going into the body right there at the navel. You don't have to pull it from anywhere else. Now move your attention up to the solar plexus, the area right in front of the stomach, and follow the same 3 steps there. 1, locate that part of the body into your awareness. 2, watch it for a while as you breathe in and breathe out to see what rhythm of breathing feels good there. And then 3, if there's any sense of tension or tightness in that area, allow it to relax. Let no new tension builds up as you breathe in, and you don't hold on to any tension as you breathe out. As for any noises coming in from outside, think of your awareness being like the screen on a window. The breeze can flow through the screen. It doesn't catch the breeze, so the breeze doesn't disturb it. Just think of the noise going right through you and out the other side. Now bring your awareness up to the middle of the chest and follow the same 3 steps there. And now move your attention to the base of the throat and follow the same steps there. Now bring your attention to the middle of the head. As you breathe in, think of the breath energy coming in not only through the nose, but also through the eyes, the ears, in from the back of the head, down from the top of the head, going deep into the brain. And as you breathe out, think of it radiating out from the head in all directions, working through any patterns of tension you may feel around the eyes, the forehead, the jaws, the back of the neck, allowing those bands of tension to relax, and think of the breath dissolving them away. When we usually tell people to focus on the breath, we tell them to watch the breath, which may be an unfortunate phrase, because it gives you the sense that you were in one spot and you're looking through your eyes to see the breath in other spots in the body. A better way to think of it is that you're wearing the breath. The breath is bathing you on all sides. You're in the middle, surrounded by the breath. Now bring your attention to the back of the neck, right at the base of the skull. As you breathe in, think of the breath energy entering there from the back, going down to the neck, the shoulders, the arms, out to the tips of the fingers. And then as you breathe out, think of it radiating out from all those parts of the body into the air. And you don't have to create any sensations of breathing through the arms. And you don't try to force the breath through the arms. It's not the air that you're trying to force. And forcing it is going to make it uncomfortable. Just think of relaxing the tension as you go down the arms. And the breath energy will flow on its own. Even if you don't sense it very clearly, the fact that your arms are relaxed allows the breath energy to flow. It's like building a road through a wilderness. You build the road, and you don't have to force the cars along the road or the trucks along the road. Once the road is open, the cars and the trucks will go on their own. Now keeping your attention at the back of the neck. This time as you breathe in, think of the breath energy entering there, and then going down both sides of the spine, down to the tailbone. And as you breathe out, think of it radiating out from the entire back into the air. And then move your attention down to the base of the spine, right at the tailbone. As you breathe in, think of the breath energy entering there and then going down through the hips, the legs, past the ankles, the feet, out to the toes. And as you breathe out, think of it radiating out from all those parts of the body into the air. And if you notice you're holding more tension in one leg than the other, or one hip than the other, allow the side that's more tense to relax, to bring things into balance. And see if you can keep them relaxed all the way through the in-breath, all the way through the out. Now that completes one cycle in the survey of the body. When you're meditating on your own, or here during the retreat, when you have quiet time to meditate, you can go through the body as many times as you like. Each time you go through, you find that you can discover more patterns of tension than you may have missed the first time around, or patterns of tension that you relaxed that have gotten tense again. You can breathe through them again. But for right now, I'd like you to find any one spot in the body where it's most congenial to focus your awareness. Ajaan lists a couple. The spot just above the navel, the end of the breastbone, right at the solar plexus, the middle of the chest, the base of the throat, the middle of the head. Those are just a few suggestions. Those are the main ones. But any spot where you like to focus your attention, focus it there. And then think of your awareness spreading from that spot to fill the whole body. So you're aware of the whole body breathing in, the whole body breathing out. And think of the flow of energies in the body as being harmonious throughout the body. They all come together. And allow the breath to find whatever rhythm feels good. Your main duty at this point would be to maintain this sense of centered but broad awareness. It's healing for the body, it's healing for the mind. Because it's still and all around, it forms a good basis for insight to arise. But for the time being, don't worry about the insight. Work on this foundation. Make sure that it's strong. If you find your attention blurring out, then go back to the survey. Otherwise, see how long you can maintain this sense of being very still but aware all through the body, with all the breath energies flowing together. If there are any pains in the body for the time being, you don't have to give them any attention. Focus on the parts of the body that you can make comfortable by the way you breathe. And then later on you'll be able to use that comfortable breath energy to help deal with the pain. But for the time being, hang out just with the parts that are comfortable. Maintain that as your main focus of awareness. By thinking of the breath energy flowing through the body in this way, Ajaan solved one of the problems that was left by the Buddha's instructions on meditation. He says to breathe in and out in a way that gives rise to a sense of fullness or refreshment. Breathe in and out in a way that gives rise to a sense of pleasure. Then he says you allow that sense of fullness and pleasure to fill the whole body. And the question is, how does it fill the body? Well, it fills the body through the flow of the breath energy. It's part of the wind element in the body. So you're working here on a skill. And as Ajaan says, when you're working on a skill, the teacher can teach you the basic steps and what to do. But to get good at the skill, you have to be observant. Notice what you're doing, notice the results, and then reflect. Are the results good? If they're not good, what can you do to change? The way you focus. Sometimes some people focus too strongly on one spot, so the breath gets uncomfortable. Other times the focus is too weak. The image the Buddha gives is holding a baby's quail in your hand. If you hold it too tightly, it's going to die. If your grip is too loose, it's going to fly away. How much pressure is just right. That you can find out by doing this and observing. As the Buddha said, the Dharma is nourished through commitment and reflection. You commit to doing it as well as you can, and then you reflect. How good are the results? What if the results are good, how do you maintain them? If they're not good, what can you do to change? In terms of concentration practice, this is called being mindful and alert and ardent. Mindful to keep the breath in mind. Keep remembering this is where you want to stay. Alert to see what you're actually doing and the results you're getting. And ardent is trying to do this well. And as your attention gets more and more gathered around the breath, it wanders off fewer and fewer times. This turns into what's called directed thought, evaluation, and singleness of occupation, which are factors in right concentration. But you don't have to worry about all those words just now. Just kind of be really good at staying with the breath. If your mind wanders off, just very gently but firmly bring it back. If it wanders off again, you don't have to follow it, to drag it back. Just let that thought dissolve and you come back to the breath. If there's a little chatter in the back of your mind, think of it, people in one corner of a room talking and you're in the other corner of the room. We've got work to do. You don't have to chase them out. You just stay focused on your work. And after a while you find that they don't disturb you. And then they'll go away. It's the same with these distracting thoughts. You feed them by paying attention to them. If you find that you go into them, you've got to get out, which is why I say allow them to dissolve, and you'll be back in the breath. But if you can see that they're in one part of the mind and your focus on the breath is on another part, just stay with the breath, because the chatter in the mind does not destroy the breath. It's still there. Just a question of trying to be with it as best you can. And the breath feels good coming in, all the way out, all the way in the periods between the in-breath and the out-breath, between the out-breath and the in-breath. It's going to be a lot easier to stay, to maintain your attention. And then when it gets really comfortable, if there are pains in your body, think of the good breath energy flowing right through them. Just release the tension around the pains. Sometimes the pains will go away, and even if they don't, you don't feel threatened by them because you've got this good breath energy as your foundation. begin to get drowsy, go back to the survey of the different parts of the body. In other words, give the mind work to do. Before you leave meditation, remind yourself there are 3 steps to leaving well. The first step is to reflect on the session that passed just now. At what point was the mind clearest, most centered, with a greater sense of well-being? Where were you focused at that point? What was the breath like? What had you been doing leading up to that point? If you can remember these things, then try to apply them the next time you sit down. Go straight to that spot. Breathe in that way. And see if you can regain the same sense of peace and well-being. If you don't, just chalk it up to the fact that you may not have been observant enough. And sometimes it's because the mind is different from one session of meditation to another. But it's by being observant and reflective like this that you develop skill in your meditation. That's the first step. The second step is to spread thoughts of goodwill. Think of whatever sense of peace or well-being you felt for the past session and dedicate it to others, either to specific people you know are suffering right now, or to all living beings in all directions. May we all find peace and well-being in our hearts. And the third step is to remind yourself that even though you open your eyes at the end of the session, you can still maintain your awareness of the breath energies in the body. Don't let the visual world obscure your sense of the body as you feel it from within. And if you notice that you lose contact with the sense of the breath, here when we're talking about the breath, you may not be aware of the ins and outs of the breath, but you do have a sense of just the quality of the breath energy in the body. Think of it being open, relaxed. And if you lose that sense, then try to do your best to regain it as quickly as you can. This serves 2 purposes. One is you begin to realize that the things that knock your mind off, that's where you can look into where you need to deal with defilements in the mind. And secondly, it gives a sense of continuity to your concentration. Like having a dog on a short leash. If you let it go on a long leash, in other words, allow your mind to wander around wherever it wants, then the next time you sit down to meditate, it's going to be a difficult process to get it to settle down again. It's like a dog on a long leash. It winds the leash around lampposts and benches and people and all kinds of things. And then to get it back to you, you have to unwind the leash. But if the dog is on a short leash, in other words, you stay with the breath energy as consistently as you can. The next time you sit down to meditate, you're right here. In other words, when you leave meditation, don't fully leave meditation. Try to keep at least part of your awareness with the breath as much as you can. With that thought, you can open your eyes. What are the arrangements for walking meditation? What are the arrangements for walking meditation? Okay. Okay. We forgot to ask for the precepts, and I forgot to explain walking meditation. So let's talk about walking meditation first. You'll be alternating sitting meditation and walking. When you walk, try to find a path that's long enough so that you don't get dizzy turning around. Because you can walk at whatever pace you like. The ideal is to be able to walk at a normal pace. You can give you practice in staying with the breath no matter what your other activities are, and walking is a good one to start with. Otherwise, if you walk slowly meditating across the street, they'll run over you. So But if, at the beginning, if you have to walk slowly, that's fine. Try to stay with the breath as best as you can. Focus on a part of the body that doesn't move around much as you meditate, as you walk. You can focus in the middle of the chest, the base of the throat, focus in the middle of the head. Try to maintain that sense of being centered as you walk down. Each time you turn around, remind yourself, I'm going to stay with the breath all the way to the other end of the path. Then turn around, okay, I'm going to stay with the breath all the way to the end of the path. Don't think beyond the end of the path. That way it keeps you centered. Do you have any questions before we take the precepts?
If anyone has questions, I can pass you the mic. Just raise your hand.
And how were you breathing that caused the pain? The sitting that caused the pain. If you find that if you try to think of the breath going through the pain, and if that doesn't help, then very, very slowly shift your position. Let's see if you can find another position that's more comfortable. But there will come a point where you say, let the pain have that part of the body. I don't have to go there. I'll have to establish my awareness someplace else. Think about the palms of your hands, the soles of your feet, someplace far away from the pain. Mm-hmm. Or you can adjust your posture a little bit and see if that helps. You may want to put a little pillow under your rear to change your posture. Try that. But there's no rule against moving. Just move slowly and deliberately. If you have to change positions, don't disturb the people right next to you.
All these 4 different combinations of the breath, in short, out long, in long, out short. How each of these combination affects our body and mind. So how each of these combination has an effect. Yeah. What is the effect of each combination of these 4?
In long and out short tends to give you more energy. In short, out long tends to be more relaxing. And then in short, in long, out long. That really depends on what your body needs. As the mind settles down, some people find their breath gets very long, other people find that it gets very short. There's no rule that one is better than the other.
And sometimes we were not able to hear you clearly. I think the volume might need to be raised a little more. Yeah, sometimes your voice wasn't very clear for us, so I think maybe the volume needs to be increased a little more.
We've been working on this.
Yeah. Thank you, sir.
My voice has a tendency to disappear into the floor.
Thank you, Bhante. Can you repeat the walking meditation again, what you mentioned just now?
Okay, try to focus your awareness on a part of the body that doesn't move very much. In other words, in the center of the body. It might be the middle of the chest, the base of the throat, the middle of the head. Each time you walk down the path, just tell yourself, I'm going to stay with the breath all the way to the other end of the path. Don't think about anything beyond the other end of the path. You get to the end of the path, turn around, tell yourself, I will stay with the breath all the way to the other end. And walk at whatever pace feels comfortable for you. This is not a slow walking contest.
Dear Venerable Sir, I tend to fall asleep during meditation. A couple of teachers has taught me to open my eyes while doing sitting meditation. What's your opinion on that? Thank you.
Okay, focus your attention. If you do open your eyes, open them halfway. Focus them on the floor. The other thing you can do, though, is continue with the survey of the body. If you stay in one spot too long, that's what puts you to sleep. One time when I was looking after Ajaan Phra, and the other monks in the monastery all found reasons not to help, so I ended up with the 2 a.m. to 8 p.m. shift. It's a long time. It's around 3 a.m. I was military. And I found that if I could move my focus 3 breaths here, 3 breaths here, 3 breaths here, move it around, I could wake myself up. So give that a try.
Thank you, sir.
Question?
Hi Ajaan, I just want to confirm the starting of the meditation you mentioned to have a in-breath long, out-breath short. Then after that we try to feel the breath energy that actually going through down to the chest, to the stomach, and then back, and then go up to the back of the eyes, the top of the head, down to the back of the spine, then coming down to the throat, to the rest of the body. Is that the typical sequence that we can actually use this for our breath meditations?
You can. There's plenty of room for variation with this method. And you'll find that, say you have a long breath in, sometimes there's a level of breath energy that goes throughout the whole body right away. As soon as you start, it's already gone through the whole body. And then the slower energy, the slower breath is actually, you're paying attention to these different parts. So you can work with that in any way that you feel comfortable, that gets your attention and feels good to sit and meditate.
There's another one thing during the meditation you mentioned that when the energy is too tight or is too loose, if too loose we will fall asleep. If too tight, then we have
It's
to...
not comfortable, yeah.
Huh?
If it's too tight, it's not a comfortable place to stay. Yeah.
Okay, so we have to change our direction. So, example, if I feel the tightness in my head, so I will have to actually divert the attentions to maybe the back of my neck or towards the shoulder.
There's too much energy in your head. You may think of it going down the back of your spine, then down into the ground. Or it can come down the front of the throat and down into the chest and then out. Another place is to go down the arms and out the palms of your hands. Especially if some people get a tightness in their chest, out the arms and out the palms.
The thing is that having the tightness is because we actually having is the energy that is giving us the tightness.
There are 2 things. One is the energy in the body. 2 is the force of your focus. Sometimes if the focus is too strong and too narrow, it will tighten things up in the body. In other cases, though, some people just carry a lot of tension around with them that they're not aware of until they sit down and meditate. Then it becomes very apparent. Especially if you do a lot of mental work, then there's going to be a lot of tension in your head when you sit down. And so think of it just kind of draining down, draining down.
we also Ajaan mentioned that there is too many tensions in the head. It could be actually due to our examples. I'm working. I use a lot of mental energy. So we have the natural inclinations that we will actually have a lot of tensions in
Right.
the head.
Right.
So for during the meditation, it will be actually good for us to actually to let the
Let the energy
tension
down. Yeah.
release down.
And when you're going to focus, don't focus above the neck. Focus on the spots down here. That's the main part of your focus. And then think of everything else coming down.
Another one more thing to verify with Ajaan is that when actually we focus, there is some certain spaciousness when actually doing that, especially during the center of the abdomen. Then I still feel the pain in my leg, but I just focus back. There's some spaciousness. Is that the correct point that I should be getting to that?
Wherever it feels open and spacious is a good place to be, as long as you can maintain your awareness and not drift off.
Thank you, Ajaan.
Actually, I just want to find out from you if you feel a sort of energy sitting on top of the head, what can one do? And during the meditation or when one hears voices, what should one do? And on other occasions, when one do chanting out of the meditation context, outdoors or even at home, and the bone will suddenly be very painful, the bone of the legs will be very painful. And
Where is the pain?
the pain is on the calf area. It's in the bone. So if I stop the chanting, the pain will go off.
Okay.
So it's I just felt that I try to continue with the chanting where possible. So I just want to ask Ajaan if you can throw some lights on this. How do I resolve the issues that I'm facing?
Everyone, if you hear any voices, just spread goodwill to wherever those voices are coming from and just let it go. As for the pain in the leg, think of the breath energy flowing down and out the soles of the feet. And as for the energy on top of the head, just think of it radiating out. If that helps.
Thank you.
Okay, we forgot to take the precepts at the beginning. So we can do it now.